Under the lamp, there is light. In the heart, there are whispers. Here we share everyday moments and offer a little peace for the soul. Welcome to HL Whispers. Do you believe this? You can often spot someone's true character the very first time you meet them. When we meet someone new, our brain automatically tries to decide, are they a good person or a bad person? But reality often proves us wrong. The person who seemed kind and caring at first may suddenly show a different face. The one you trusted the most may turn out to have been lying to you all along. Sound familiar? If we could recognize someone's true nature right from the start, we could avoid many painful relationships. So, how do you see through a person at first glance and avoid being fooled by appearances? Today, I'll share 5 key signs that reveal a person's real character. If this video helps you, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. I'll keep bringing you more honest heart-to-heart content to warm your life. The first sign, how they dress when we meet someone. The first thing we notice is how they're dressed. Studies show that clothing often reflects personality. Researchers at Northwestern University found that people unconsciously express who they are through what they wear. Psychologist Adam Galinsky put it this way: clothes aren't just fabric, they're how you define yourself. Fashion icon Giorgio Armani once said, "Style is a silent introduction of yourself." Going people often wear bright colors, wanting to stand out. Quiet, reserved people lean toward black, white, and gray, preferring simple designs. Perfectionists keep a sharp, polished look, always aiming for flawless. People who dress messy or careless usually don't care much about what others think. But here's the key: it's not what they wear, it's why they wear it. The same expensive suit might mean one person is respecting the occasion, while another is just trying to show off their status. So instead of just looking at their outfit, ask, is this how they always dress? Or do they only dress up for certain people? Are they being themselves, or are they trying to create an image? For example, some people look sloppy most of the time, but as soon as the boss or someone important shows up, they suddenly look sharp. That tells you they're not truly casual. They only care when it benefits them. French philosopher Roland Barthes said it well: clothing is a sign, a silent language. Words can be faked, but clothing choices often slip out unconsciously and reveal the truth. So when you look at someone's style, don't just ask what they're wearing. Ask yourself, why are they wearing this? That's the first sign of someone's true nature. The second sign, their speech habits. There's an old saying, your words reflect your heart. And research backs this up. A Harvard University study found that someone's personality often shows up in their tone and word choices, especially in those little catchphrases they blurt out without thinking. Clothes can be dressed up, facial expressions can be faked, but speech habits are hard to hide. Here are some to watch out for. 1. People who always brag. No matter the topic, they bring it back to themselves. I've done that before. I already know about that. It might sound confident, but usually it comes from insecurity. Over time, you'll realize they only care about their own interests. 2. People who constantly interrupt. A good conversation is like a game of ping pong back and forth. But interrupters want to hog the ball. Psychologists say interrupting isn't just a habit, it shows dominance and lack of respect. 3. People who fake humility. They say things like, "Oh, I'm not that good," or "I didn't do well." It sounds modest, but they're actually fishing for compliments. Psychologists call this humble bragging. 4. People who hide insults as jokes. They'll say, "Relax, I was just joking." But studies show jokes are one of the clearest ways people reveal their real feelings. If someone keeps making jokes that put others down, they probably enjoy feeling superior. And when you get upset, they play the victim. "Why are you so sensitive? It was just a joke." If you're around this type of person, sooner or later you'll get hurt. So remember, true character doesn't show in well-rehearsed words. It shows in those unconscious speech habits. That's the second sign of someone's true nature. The third signal, how they change with power. So, what's the third signal? It's this: when someone gains power, do they change? A person's true nature often doesn't show in ordinary moments. It shows once they have power in their hands. At Stanford University, there was a famous study you may have heard of, the Stanford Prison Experiment. Psychologist Philip Zimbardo recruited college students and randomly assigned them to play the roles of guards and prisoners. Within just a few days, dramatic changes appeared. The students playing guards became increasingly harsh. They humiliated the prisoners and even used aggressive methods to control them. It was only role play, but once they were given a little bit of power, their true nature surfaced. Professor Zimbardo concluded, "Power is the sharpest blade to test human nature." So how does this play out in everyday life? 1. Some people change after a promotion. That friendly, approachable coworker suddenly becomes a boss and transforms overnight. Their tone turns commanding, small mistakes get blown out of proportion, and they show no mercy to subordinates. This reveals they weren't truly kind before. They were just powerless. The more power they gain, the more their real self comes out. 2. Some people change when they get rich. That old friend who once shared hard times with you now speaks with arrogance, chooses friends more selectively, and even looks down on those with less money. A study in economic psychology from Harvard University found that as wealth increases, a person's empathy often decreases. In other words, money didn't change them. It simply exposed who they really were. 3. Some people even change with a tiny bit of power. We've all seen this. In the office, someone with just a small amount of authority suddenly starts bossing around junior employees. At a social gathering, the person in charge of collecting money or organizing suddenly uses it to control others. Psychologist D. Kinsley once said, "Small power is a mirror that reveals human nature." If someone loses their balance over just a little power, imagine how dangerous they'd be if given much more. So, what's the takeaway? When judging someone, don't just look at who they are in ordinary moments. Look at how they act when they gain power. When they're promoted, does their attitude change? When they get more money, do their eyes still carry warmth? When they have a small advantage, do they become more humble or more arrogant? The German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "Power doesn't corrupt people, it only reveals who they really are." So pay attention. Some people, when given an advantage, become more caring. Others immediately reveal their arrogance. If you can see this difference, you'll know who to trust and who to stay away from. This is the third signal of a person's true nature. The fourth signal, breaking promises easily. Now, what's the fourth signal? It's this: someone who often breaks their promises. The simplest way to judge if a person is trustworthy is to see whether they keep their word. A person who treats promises lightly usually lacks responsibility, and they're difficult to rely on. A psychological study from Duke University found the more often someone breaks agreements, the harder it is for them to gain genuine trust in relationships. In other words, how someone treats their promises is a reflection of their character. This is the fourth signal of a person's true nature. So which types of broken promises are the most dangerous? 1. Those who casually cancel plans. We all know people like this. They agree to meet you, but on the day, they suddenly disappear. Later, they brush it off with, "Sorry, something came up." Once in a while, it's understandable. But if it becomes a habit, it shows you're not important to them. They always put their own convenience first. And when it really matters, these are the people most likely to betray you. 2. Those who double book themselves. They promise you first, but then they make plans with someone else. At the last minute, they weigh which option is better for them and cancel on one person. The excuse is always the same: something urgent came up. People like this lack responsibility. In relationships, they're always calculating, always choosing whichever benefits them more. With them, you'll always come second. 3. Those who say nice things but never follow through. "I'll take you out to dinner next time." "I'll definitely be free next week." But when you actually call them, the answer is always, "I'm too busy," or "I just can't make it right now." They use words to please others, but never back it up with action. Such promises only bring disappointment again and again. By contrast, even someone who keeps small promises is far more trustworthy than a person who only makes empty ones. A person who breaks promises easily is really showing you how little they value you. Do they cancel often? Do they always double book? Do they say things but never do them? If you watch for these details, you'll quickly see whether someone truly values you or just cares about their own convenience. Stay too close to people who treat promises like a joke, and when it really counts, you'll always be the last on their list. The German philosopher Immanuel Kant once said, "Those who lightly break promises will eventually lose all trust and end up in isolation." Everyone can make mistakes once in a while, but if someone repeats the same behavior again and again, that's not a mistake anymore. That's who they really are. So from today on, pay attention to the people around you. Those who treat promises as nothing more than jokes, you must keep your distance. This is the fourth signal of a person's true nature. The fifth signal, people who envy others' success. So, what is the final signal? The first signal was clothing. The second was speech habits. The third was how someone changes with power. The fourth was people who break promises easily. And the last, the fifth signal, is this: people who envy others' success. A person's true character often doesn't show in ordinary times, but becomes most obvious when others succeed. Some people smile and say, "Congratulations, that's amazing." But deep down, they're filled with jealousy and unease. If you stay too close to such people, one day their envy will turn into hostility. A study from UCLA found that people with stronger envy struggle to accept others' success and are more likely to damage relationships. So, what are the common signs of this kind of person? 1. They praise you at first, then tear you down. They start with, "That's great, I'm so happy for you." But soon they switch. "It was just luck." People like you usually don't last long. Sure, it looks good now, but who knows about the future? They appear to congratulate you, but they quietly pour cold water on your happiness. 2. They disguise criticism as jokes. "Oh, look at you getting all fancy now. Don't forget about us little people. You've changed, haven't you?" They hide their envy behind half smiles and jokes, but their words still sting. They don't openly attack you, but they always find a way to poke at you in your happiest moments. 3. They shift the spotlight back to themselves. Even when celebrating your success, they'll say things like, "This isn't a big deal, the real challenge is still ahead." Honestly, I've had similar experiences myself. They can't simply be happy for you. They need to drag the focus back to themselves. Psychologist Alfred Adler once said, "The stronger someone's inferiority complex, the harder it is for them to endure another person's happiness." Jealousy isn't just an emotion, it reveals a deep-rooted mindset. So pay attention. When you achieve something, do the people around you genuinely celebrate with you, or do they quietly try to pull you down? Those worth trusting will sincerely stand by you when you succeed, but the jealous ones will only try to hold you back as you rise. This is the fifth signal of a person's true nature. Know you know the 5 key signals. When dealing with others, remember, these signs may not show right away, but with time, they always surface. And while you're judging others, remember, others are also judging you. If you want to meet good people, you must first become someone trustworthy yourself. As Nietzsche once said, "You become what you are, and you will meet those like you." Thank you for staying until the end. Under this lamp, we've shared life's small moments and listened to whispers of the heart. May you carry this warmth and clarity with you as you continue walking your own path. This is HL Whispers. See you next time.